Hello, good afternoon. Welcome back to the week before Christmas madness that is my classroom. It's Friday, and I usually have a little bit more sanity on Fridays, so that's typically when I show you what we're up to. But today, we do have some cool things going on. So I thought I would just kind of do like a walk through the day and then also what we're doing to get ready for Christmas sort of video. So my kids are all at lunch right now, so I'm going to show you what we've done so far and what we've got coming up. Okay, so here's our schedule for today. So we've got a Christmas sing next week. So we practiced that this morning with the whole second grade. Then we took our Wonders test. I have a little test piece, but the magnet came off of it. So it just says Wonders right now. So we did our Wonders test, which was our language arts one. We took our spelling tests. And then we started talking about science. So we read some stories about gravity and did a couple little experiments where we just like dropped things to see what would happen. We went out to track, which is where we just walk around outside. For reading workshop today, I actually didn't do any guided reading groups and just did some progress monitoring type assessment stuff with kids. They're at lunch right now. When they get back, we're going to do another science experiment, which I'll show you in just a second. They'll go to library, to recess. We'll do a tiny little bit of math. They're actually taking a test today, and then we'll go to Fun Friday and go home. Okay, so for science, we're talking about gravity right now. So we did some mini experiments today with dropping things like keys and pennies and stuff, seeing which hit the ground first. Do they fall up or down? Just like really basic gravity stuff. We also read, I have like mascara running all over my face. We read a story about Isaac Newton talking about that he was the one who kind of labeled gravity. It's always funny because I really bad want to say that he invented gravity. But he did not invent gravity. Gravity has existed for always. And he didn't really discover it so much as put a label on it. Anyway, complicated science things that probably don't matter that much, but this is what we're going to do for their project. So they're going to get in a group with 3 people, and we are going to try dropping rocks to see which one will hit the ground at the same time. So they'll drop a ton of different times to see which one will hit, the small, the large, or if they both hit at the same time. And we'll talk about the fact that they noticed that overall majority of the time, it should be every time they hit both, but you know, kids are kids. So to help them so that they don't have to just look at this with their eyes, we're actually going to have them use the iPads to get down at like floor level and record so they can go back and watch the footage to see which one dropped first. So this should be super fun, if not very chaotic, because we'll have rocks flying everywhere in our room. I just got this from the teacher next door. She just made it for her class and then passed it on to us. Then for Fun Friday today, for my section of the Fun Friday, because we split up into classes and let the kids choose where they want to go. So we've got one that's doing, talking about gravity and friction with race cars on tracks. We're doing like a punch art one, just like a Christmas one. And then I'm going to be doing Skittles similes. So we're going to be talking about Skittles, writing some similes for them, and then writing our own food simile poetry. So that should be super duper fun. I'm looking forward to a good Friday. So my kids actually only have 10 minutes left of lunch and I have not eaten yet. So I am going to go eat lunch and I will probably talk to you again. Actually, probably not till the end of the day. They do have a recess, but let's be real. I'm going to be trying to get my act together after dropping rocks. So I'll see you later. Okay, it is way after the children have left. In fact, it is 5:15 now. So it is quite some time after the children have left, but I was just like in the zone getting things done. So I took care of a bunch of stuff. I have everything cleaned up and organized for next week. I made the labels for my student glue sticks, which they are getting for Christmas. Lucky them. And I've just been back here sorting through my finished work and centers baskets, which is always an exciting activity because then I kind of decide what do parents care about and what do I not care to sort through. So I've got a large stack of things that I'm just going to toss out. However, I found in here an activity that I did not tell you guys about, which is something that I like to do for Christmas every year. I mean, in all 2 years of my experience. So I wanted to show you this and share with you a couple of the student responses because it's pretty hilarious. And then I need to update you on the gravity activity that we did as promised. So first, Christmas Elfies. So let me find one that doesn't have somebody's name on it. I mean, you would think that that would be easy to do in a pile of children, but I am pleased to say that every single one of these has a name on it, so I'll just cover this one up. Okay, here you go. Okay, what happens is each student gets a picture with an elf on it, and there's a bunch of different pictures. There's this guy. Let me see if I can find some other examples for you. There's this little friend. There's just a ton of little elves. So they get a picture, and they color it, and then they write a story to go with their picture. So there's this guy's story all about how his elf got sick and they found another elf, but he wasn't any good. So they were grateful when he was not sick anymore. But this is not the funny one I wanted to show you. Okay, this is the hilarious one I wanted to show you. So she had this picture of the girl holding the ornaments, and her story talks about how there was this elf, her name's Ruby, and she's totally in love with the other elf named Bob. And so she builds, right here, one day she built the biggest love mansion in the world of toys. She put Bob to love her, and then they got married. The end. I mean, I guess if you're madly in love with Bob, building a love mansion is probably your best option. So writing Christmas selfies is always exciting because they've got the little picture and then they write the story behind it, and I always get creative things like that and it makes me laugh, and so I love doing Christmas selfies, and I just do that as a writing center, so they just sit and do that by themselves. We don't do that as like a whole class activity, so I don't have one from everybody and it's not required, but the kids who want to write it and they seem to really enjoy it, so there is that. Okay, update on the gravity activity. My arm's getting tired again. So we took 2 rocks, a big one and a small one, and we dropped them from shoulder height, and we filmed it with the iPads so that they could go back and kind of watch the video footage to see which one hit the ground first. We were trying to figure out, would the bigger one or the smaller one hit the ground first, or would they both hit at the same time? So each group did several test runs. I had 3 people in a group, and so they rotated jobs of being the one to drop the rocks, record the rocks, or record what the answer was on the recording sheet. And then once we were out of time / they were finished with all their trials, we tallied them up on the board to see what we got in total. And as any good teacher does with unreliable scientific data, I fudged it a little bit and said, oh wow, looks like all of us got both, even though we clearly had like 4 more votes for the large one hitting first, because that wasn't supposed to happen, and so that wouldn't help me teach my lesson on gravity if they were not hitting at the same time. Anyways, we discussed why things hit at the same time. It was super fun. They did a really good job. Nobody got hurt. No rocks were thrown anywhere. No iPads were cracked in the making of this gravity experiment. And it was a lot of fun. I was really impressed with. So we did that gravity activity, and then they went out to recess. And after recess, we took our math test on our subtraction strategies. And guys, every single student got 100%. There were 2 who I had to like coach through it a little bit, so I didn't give them 100% in their final score, but they were able to come up with the answers. And so everybody got 100%. And wow, that's beautiful. Anytime you have a moment like that, it's worth a celebration. I had a whole Kit Kat bar to treat myself, so that was great. Okay, I'm going to go attempt to print out the labels for my student gifts and my team gifts so that I can show those to you. It may end poorly, but I'm going to try and do that. So I'm going to put away these baskets I've sorted and go print out those labels, and then I can kind of show you how I'm going to put that together. And, ooh, I want to show you. Yesterday, I did all my Christmas shopping, right? And I got something lovely. Look at this. I felt that this was important for me to have since I'm always talking about what a mess my desk is. Right now it's really clean, really proud of me, but normally, bless this mess. This has literally nothing to do with anything else I have talked about in the video, but I am kind of sick of looking at our multiple meaning words, M&Ms. So it was a fun activity, and here they go. I'm gonna take them down. Okay, good news, printing the labels worked. I broke all the rules and put cardstock in the regular printer because I didn't want to wait until Monday to get it printed. So now I have my labels and, oops, right there, super special glue stick that will not be wasted or lost. I can't read upside down, backwards, whatever direction that is. So I'm going to cut these out and I'll just show you how I'm going to do one of them. And unless there's something lovely on the Hallmark channel, I'm probably going to take the rest of them home to finish because I still need to go finish up some Christmas shopping tonight for friends. So let's cut one out and then I'll show you how I'm going to put them on the glue sticks. Actually, while I'm cutting, I had some really good ideas yesterday in regards to Christmas that I wish I had thought of sooner, but of course I did not. So I'm going to share them with you just in case you still have time to think of these things. So basically what I thought was, instead of buying individual gifts for students like little toys or coupons or glue sticks, as if you're a lame teacher like me, I thought it would be really cool if next year, if I choose something that our whole class would probably enjoy, like right now, we really are loving these My Weird School books, and I would love to get the set for my classroom, but I can't really like justify paying that much money for some books right now when I'm also giving them Christmas presents. So I thought that for next year for a class gift, what I'll probably do is come up with a couple things that our whole class could use. It could be something that we could get for our classroom rather than for kids in the class. And then kind of give them a couple ideas and then let them vote on which one they would like. So maybe like a set of books or new markers or new whiteboard erasers, you know, like something along those lines. It'll be something that we could all use in class, and then we can kind of vote on which one we would like to have as a class. So there's an idea for a class Christmas gift. Also got this idea from another teacher today. She had her kids write a 12 Days of Christmas book, but instead of my true love gave to me, it was my teacher gave to me, and so she just had them in partners, and they worked together to create one of the pages for the 12 Days of Christmas book, and they made like a class version of the 12 Days of Christmas, which would be super fun to do for your class. I think one of the teachers said she has a night before Christmas one too. And there was one other thing that I thought of that I have written down on a paper. I can't remember what it is now, so I guess that those will be my only two good ideas. Anyway, that lasted long enough to cut out all the labels. So I've got the labels cut out, and now I've lost my glue stick. There it is. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is just take the label, and oh, it's perfect. Love that. I'm going to use packing tape to just put it around the glue stick, so then it'll turn out looking something like this. And it has their name on it, and then it has the little message about it being their super special glue stick. And I did print these on cardstock, so it's a little bit harder to tape down, but and it's also a little bit wider than the packing tape, so we're gonna have to do 2 strips. Well, I'll be right back. Bam. 1 down, 21 more to go. I also printed off some labels for the gifts I'm giving to my teachers that I teach with. I'm giving them some dry erase markers. Giving them some dry erase markers that have magnets in them so they can stick to the board. A student gave me some at the beginning of the year, and I love them, so I think everybody should have some. And I'm also giving them a bag of like Haribo gummy bears to fit with the remarkable. No, that's the markers, the unbearable part. So I'm just going to color these because we don't have a colored printer, and I didn't feel like driving down the street to the regular colored printer place to print them. So, you know. Last thing, funny story, and then I shall leave you in peace. Today the kids are coming in from recess, and one of the kids was like, when are you going to come play football with us? And which is weird because literally nobody has asked me about football ever in my teaching career. And I was like, well, nobody's ever invited me to play football. And turned around and walked away. So I get a little note in my teacher mailbox today that says, Dear Miss Stone, can you want to play football? I think she meant, do you want to play football? Please, my brother can teach you. So I have officially been invited to play football. I'll probably go play football now. Anyway, hopefully some of those tips and tricks are slightly helpful, and if not, at least my talking could be somewhat amusing to you. Some of these stories might make you laugh a little bit. I had a good day. It was a lot of fun. I woke up this morning and thought it was Saturday, but instead it was a Good Friday. So I'm going to go finish my Christmas shopping. I'm going to go home and watch a movie and label the rest of my glue sticks. So those will be ready to go for next week. And then I'm going to try and film at some point next week because I bought wrapping paper and I'm going to wrap their tables. Probably just like over top of them. But I kind of want to show you what that looks like. And you know what? At some point, now that I've told you about everything that we're doing next week, I should probably check in and update you on the madness or what did and did not happen. So don't forget to subscribe so that you'll know when I do post videos, since I'm totally unreliable right now. And comment if you have questions. And that's about all. And thanks so much for watching. And have a great day. See ya.